Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show today, a new book out that is not only a guide to managing your personal brand, but will help individuals who feel hindered by shyness conquer their fears to achieve personal or professional goals. Also, we'll introduce you to an innovative performing arts program which offers youth-quality dance, theater arts, and African history education. More on that in just a bit. But up first, when Boston Mayor Marty Walsh and Governor Charlie Baker, along with the Boston Foundation, announced the creation of the Massachusetts United for Puerto Rico Fund at the 8th Annual El Mundo Boston Hispanic Heritage Month breakfast last Friday, it was history in the making. Hosted in partnership with the Latino Legacy Fund and civic leaders of Boston's Puerto Rico community, Massachusetts United for Puerto Rico is an unprecedented fund dedicated to the relief and reconstruction of Puerto Rico and to support any Puerto Ricans arriving to the Commonwealth as a result of the destruction from Hurricane Maria. Up to 1/3 of all funds will be immediately distributed for relief efforts, and the remainder of the fund will be deployed over the next year. The fund was announced on Friday, September 29th, and by Tuesday of this week, more than $800,000 had been raised, with the initial goal of $1 million, and that's getting closer and closer, and they're hoping that it'll go much higher than that. Here to give us an update, we have invited two very important members of the Fund's Advisory Committee, Aixa Beauchamp and Juan Carlos Morales, both co-founders from the Latino Legacy Fund. Welcome to Urban Update. Thanks for coming in. And Juan Carlos, let me start with you. Boy, on the significance of establishing this fund, that's really amazing that you've done so well so fast. Why is this so important in your view?
Well, listen, Byron, imagine a world with no traffic lights, no cell phones, low food, low water, and no internet, right? This is a tragic event that needs to be acted upon now. And regretfully, our federal response has been slower than we had all hoped for. So, some leaders in Massachusetts, including Governor Baker and Mayor Walsh, decided to take action now.
Okay. Now, Aixa, this is a true collaboration with many different people and many organizations involved. Isn't that correct?
That's true, Byron. I think, as you mentioned, both it's the Latino Legacy Fund in partnership with the Boston Foundation, but we also have IBA as one of the largest Latino organizations in the Boston area as partners, and the Puerto Rican community also as partners. And I also just want to mention real quick, because when we started to make these phone calls 72 hours ago, by the way, we had some first responders who stepped up to the plate really quick, and one of them was the Tufts Health Plan Foundation, MFS, EOS Foundation, and Stewart Health, in addition to Eastern Bank, who just stepped up as partners for this fund because of the great need that the island is experiencing.
Juan Carlos, can you talk a little bit more about the response from the community and I guess the philanthropic community as well?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there are some big people with big hearts in these states, right? And some of them are Latino, a lot of them are not, right? So we had, over the last 3 days, over 1,000 contributions in our website, right? We would have never thought that we would have been at $800,000 in a couple of days. Frankly, that number is going to be north of $1 million very soon. Whether our folks like Aixa mentioned, Stewart Health, or Arbella Insurance, or the many other lists of corporate sponsors, this was a leadership moment. This took a few phone calls, said, we have a need, here's the need, here's how we're going to spend the funds smartly, and the time to act is now, and people stepped up to the plate.
Okay. Now, Aixa, I know you and your husband were early donors, early large donors, I should say, and this particular cause hits close to home for you and your husband, does it not?
Absolutely. So my husband, Thomas Melendez, and I, although we are called New York Ricans because we were not born and raised in Puerto Rico, New York Ricans, our hearts are very much in Puerto Rico. We've actually have spent, when we were children, we spent many of summers in Puerto Rico, and we actually own property in Puerto Rico, and our children, and we have family there. So it's very close to our hearts too, because we have a very close tie with our family members. I also had the benefit of working as a consultant for the Puerto Rican Community Foundation, and because of my work with them, have gotten to know many of the grassroots organizations working on the ground in Puerto Rico. So it made sense for this fund also to really look at what organizations we were going to be supporting. And organizations like the American Red Cross are very important, and I applaud them for the work they're doing in Puerto Rico. But we also need to recognize that the Puerto Rican organizations or the non-for-profits that are in Puerto Rico will actually stay there and be not only involved in the relief efforts, but be involved in the reconstruction efforts. And that's very important for this fund to be able to support those organizations.
You were saying, I believe we said in the intro that not only are you giving immediate relief, but you're going to be continuing with the funds over the next year.
Absolutely. This fund has three R's, as we like to call them, and one of them is relief, one of them is reconstruction, and one of them is relocation, because we believe that there's going to be an exodus.
Now, Juan Carlos, can you talk a little bit more, get into more detail about what the funds will be used for, the timeline, when the money will be dispersed, and also the aid that's going to be here as well?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Aixa mentioned the three R's, relief, recovery, and relocation. Relief, obviously, we have disasters that needs to be handled. Recovery, Puerto Rico is faced with a $90 billion reconstruction effort. So this is going to be headlines way past the next couple of weeks, right? And relocation, and frankly, our leaders in the state had the foresight to think about this. There will be a migrant wave or Puerto Ricans that are going to come back into the eastern coast of the United States. Massachusetts is a very appetizing location for them to step into, right? So we want to release funds as soon as this Friday, right? A big chunk of money is going to get curated, and what I mean by that is it's going to go to the right charities that are going to make the right impact. The advisory committee is convening this Friday, and the first flow it should happen in really short order.
And how can people donate?
That's the most important question you've asked today, Byron. Thank you.
All right, well, let's get to it.
Listen, this is all about money. Folks in Puerto Rico, and largely because of the transportation logistics, are really struggling to get goods and supplies. What we need is money, all right? And you can contribute to tbf.org/Puerto Rico. That's a very important step that you can take today. Now, whether you're an individual or a business, feel free to reach out to our friends and partners at the Boston Foundation. We have over 100 years doing this type of stuff and have been incredible partners in executing this strategy.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that the public schools still are not open there, still not much power at all. With Massachusetts having such a big Puerto Rican community, is the Commonwealth preparing for an influx of Puerto Ricans who are going to be coming here?
Absolutely, Byron. I think JC mentioned that a part of our dollars are for relocation efforts, and we anticipate that there will be a mass exodus. Massachusetts has the 5th largest Puerto Rican population, and I personally have relatives arriving in the next week, and that's just me, and also some of my colleagues. I can anticipate. I just learned yesterday that they're not anticipating opening up the school until about December, January. That's a long time for kids not to be in school. So we anticipate that families will be coming here also temporarily and maybe long term. And so that's why some of our dollars are going to go to relocation efforts.
And very quickly, just to wrap things up here, I guess this ordeal is not going to be resolved overnight. How long do you think the relief efforts are going to be, this will be going on? Years?
Well, as we know, unfortunately, with the tragedy in Katrina, the relief efforts, were massive, and we anticipate that they'll be massive here. But the relocation efforts are actually going to take much longer. I'm sorry, the reconstruction efforts are going to take much longer. We're talking about an island who has $90 billion, right, in reconstruction efforts. So we anticipate that will take a long time. And the relocation, unfortunately, Byron, as people get exhausted with not having the resources they need, we'll see more and more coming here.
Okay, and say the website one more time to donate.
www.tbf.org/Puerto Rico.
Okay, and there it is right up there on the screen. Juan Carlos Morales, Aixa Beauchamp, thank you both for coming in, and good luck with your efforts in helping out our American friends on the island of Puerto Rico.
Thank you,
Thank you, Byron.
Okay. All right. Well, coming up, you can twist and shout to help motivate and challenge youth. All the details right here on Urban Update. Stay with us. We'll be right back.